Big news, great news. I'm really happy about this, and I know there was a lot of demand from you for something like this. It's finally here, and I'll share the news with you right now. After searching and searching,
Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Where are you?
always having this idea in the back of our mind, we finally found them. The ones who could help us, help you. How? By helping you with your ClinChecks, with some ClinCheck coaching service. But we wanted to find people who would share our philosophy, our way of thinking, our way of treating our members and our patients. We needed dedicated people, passionate people, people who love what they do and that believe in what they can bring. I'm happy to announce that we have a new partnership with ClearTPS. ClearTPS. Clear. I think it was meant to be. Although we share a similar name, we are two different companies, but even though our partnership is still young, we can already see how it will benefit all of you. I did an interview with Dr. Adriana Garro, an orthodontist, and she's the global clinical director at ClearTPS. She's in charge. And she's one of the reasons why we decided to partner with them. Dr. Garro wanted to know how we do things, what we teach, what type of mechanics we use, the type of attachments, everything. She's even doing the whole curriculum of the MOCA courses. Certainly not because she needs it, but because she wants to make sure they will serve you according to our standards. And that was often the problem. We teach some things and then you were receiving your ClinChecks, but with things, features, completely different from what you learned in your programs. And it got you confused, of course. And you were right to be, but not anymore. ClearTPS will set up your ClinChecks for you, making you save time that you can spend more at the chair or with your family, friends, or just by yourself, doing nothing. Do you remember the last time you did nothing? ClearTPS is an elite team of clinicians that are highly specialized in clear aligner diagnosis and treatment planning optimization. They support doctors over 30 countries and have optimized hundreds of thousands of clear aligner treatment plans. That's a lot more than me. They are the global leaders in clear aligner treatment planning services, and this is why we decided to partner with them, because we're global leaders in clear aligner education. We just belong together. Now let's meet with Dr. Garro, but first I just want you to stay till the end for two reasons. First, because I will have a very interesting offer for you, for Clear Doctors. You can also find it in the description below. You do not want to miss that if you're serious about integrating clear aligners in your practice. Second is because Dr. Garro was a little stressed about this interview, being on camera and having a video on YouTube and all. And at the end, when we finished, I was still recording and she didn't know. And we just continued our conversation off the record. And you can see real passion in her at that time. Watch it and stay till that moment. Okay, without further ado, let's now meet with Dr. Adriana Garro. I am so happy today to finally have the chance to spend some time. I know you're super busy with what you're doing, Dr. Garro, because I know for a fact, I've been giving lectures for a couple of years now, and I know for a fact one thing where doctors doing aligners, even, I mean, not only those who are just starting, but those who are, have more experience, the place they struggle the most is with the ClinCheck. This is where they don't know what to do. They don't know what to, and sometimes they don't spend enough time that they should spend on this, because I know if we spend more time on this, we have less problem after. And they rely on the artificial intelligence, and they rely on Align, and they think that Align and the software will do everything for them. And then after that, they're confused. So I'm so happy today to take the time with you, because we finally, at the Clear Institute, we finally found people that we could work with, that we in who we have confidence, and because we saw what you were doing, guys. And so I want to give you the opportunity to explain what is ClearTPS, where you come from, what do you provide, what can you do for our doctors, how can you help, and well, I'll let you do. Just introduce yourself first. Who are you, Dr. Garro? Who are you?
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Reinhardt, for having us and giving us the chance to talk about our service. Clear Treatment Planning Solutions, or ClearTPS, it's the company that was founded around 2012. And it has been founded by people who have been in the clear aligner industry since their beginnings, since the first back in 1997, where the first aligners were starting to be manufactured. And with our collective clinical experience, we found that definitely doctors need a lot of assistance on the clinical side to be able to achieve a good experience and to be able to achieve and grow their full potential. So just the general information of us, we have more than 500 doctors that we are helping currently around the world, in about 25 different countries. So borders are not a limitation for us to help doctors wherever they are. We reached last year the sum of 100,000 cases that we've been able to help doctors with, and that makes us very, very proud, because what we see after all of these cases is that the refinement rate of the doctors that we are helping decreases significantly after they receive our help. And this is because they no longer do unnecessary refinements. Sometimes refinements are necessary. There are tooth movements that require extra help, but they were doing a whole bunch of unnecessary refinements because of initial poor planning. And planning is the key. We have been trusted by many different masters of aligners around the world, some universities, different companies, and we're very proud to say that we've been able to help all of these doctors with the treatment planning. When we talk about the goal of a treatment planning, is that when you're doing a clear aligner plan, you think not only about aesthetics. Aesthetics is important, especially for the patient. Mm-hmm. You also think about predictability and stability, which is what we want to achieve, not only at the end of the treatment, but in long term, we want the teeth to stay where we put them at the end. And that's very important. How can you achieve this? Everything begins with an accurate diagnosis. It is not until you understand the malocclusion of the patient. Why are the maxillary bones where they are? What was the facial patterns of the growth of the patient? And you understand why are the teeth misaligned, and then you can look into your ClinCheck or your digital treatment plan. And this is how we have achieved. It's a recipe, it's not a secret. It's what you would do with any clinical situation. You will first find what is causing the disease, what is causing the problem, understand the root cause, and then you can plan your treatment. Mm-hmm. It takes, of course, knowledge, orthodontic knowledge, and it takes experience to be able to come up with an accurate diagnosis and an optimized treatment plan. And here is where doctors get a little bit confused sometimes. And I want to illustrate with a few slides what is the process like, because some doctors believe that a setup is a treatment plan, mm-hmm. and there is a big difference between teeth moving on the screen and teeth moving on the screen that have been diagnosed properly, and they're moving where they can move and not where the screen shows they can go.
This is what I say all the time. You look at a ClinCheck, you see teeth moving, but those are not teeth moving. Those are the shapes of the appliance you're going to receive. This is how the force will be applied on your teeth. This is what we're looking at. We're looking at a force system. And if you don't understand that, if you don't get that, then this is when you start having problem. The other thing is exactly like you said, diagnosis. You need to know how to plan your cases. You need to know where you start from, where you're going. It's like having a GPS. You know, you know your destination, you know where you come from, and between these two things, then you have to decide how you're going to get there. And this is planning your case. When I see things like, you know, in this special instruction and prescription saying align the teeth. Align the teeth is not a treatment plan. It might be your goal. It might be, but it's not. It doesn't say anything. Make it look good. I saw that. Make it look good. Make it look good. What does it mean? Make it look good. I mean, it might be different for you. Might be different for me. So yeah, I think it's very, very, very important. Thank you.
Yes, we have seen throughout the years that the digital treatment, the digital image on the screen, like the ClinCheck, it's an amazing tool, but it can also trick the mind of the doctors with a little experience. Because sometimes doctors just focus on what they see on the screen. They focus on in and outs, on tips, on cost-post relationship, and they forget the bigger picture. They forget how are the teeth going to get there, and if they can get there at all. So that's why diagnosis is the key. Now, in the process of making aligners, you will begin with your scan, and your scan will have to go through the setup process, which is done by the dental technicians. It's a necessary step, but it's not the treatment plan. The treatment plan comes after that, but before the manufacturing of the aligners. What the dental technicians will do with the help of the software is to turn this digital model into actual 3D teeth that have mobility and with the virtual gingiva in which you can see what's going to happen. And then with the help of the software, the teeth will follow a pattern on the screen to achieve something that can be called an ideal position on the plan. And this is done nothing but in a process in which the software can read measure distal surfaces of teeth, and the software can apply a preset arch form on the teeth. Mm-hmm. So with the click of a button, the teeth will snap from being crooked to being aligned. This is a setup. It's an amazing process. It needs to be done by a knowledgeable dental technician who knows tooth anatomy, because they need to clean the scans, they need to cut them, they need to confirm that the bite is set properly. But this is not a treatment plan. Mm-hmm. Okay? And that's, if you can remember this slide, then I will have done my job.
Exactly. It's like when I say all the time is that this is virtual. We're in a virtual world, and your patient's teeth will not look at the ClinCheck. It will not look at the ClinCheck and say, "Oh, okay. Oh, this is the place I have to go. Okay, now I understand." This is not how it works. So this is virtual. We're in a virtual world. The technicians, they work with what they see. They didn't see your patient. They're computer technicians. So again, you are treating the patients. We have to be careful there. Exactly.
Exactly. And this is not what you need to approve. This is not where the process ends. This is where the process begins. This is where the clinical process needs to begin. So how would it begin? Well, the doctor needs to know the clinical records and needs to evaluate the clinical records thoroughly with the images, and hopefully if you have x-rays or a tomography, you can then understand what is the facial biotype of this patient, how did this patient grow, where is the mandible growing, is it growing forward, is it growing downwards, is it growing to one side, what is the periodontal biotype of the patient, what is the real anatomy of the maxilla and the mandible, are they symmetric or they're not, are they thick, are they thin, have they undergone periodontal problems or conditions, what is the condition of the bone in which you're trying to initialize or distalize the tooth. If you want to move some teeth buccally to expand, is there bone there to expand or not? Then with this knowledge, then you can start thinking about the treatment options. There's often more than one way to treat a case. And then you can evaluate pros and cons of different options, compromises, have these discussions with yourself and with the patient, and even evaluate possible restoration scenarios, option, cost. So not only knowing this, but then planning for whatever auxiliary techniques you may need, being prepared from the beginning, know during your monitoring phase what problems may arise and what would you do if they come up. And at the end, how would you finish the case and what would be the best retention options you can give to this patient. So as you can see, none of these things can be done by a dental technician. These things need to be done by a clinician with knowledge and experience. Now, of course, it's a group effort. It has to be done as a team. The dental technician, the software plays a big role. The doctor plays a big role. And our goal is to hopefully take away most of the burden from the doctor and the software and manage most of this responsibility. And why do we want to manage most of this responsibility? Because the doctors need to go through their learning curve. Everyone that is hearing this webinar knows that with any new technology, any new device, you have a slow beginning, then you have a steep progress. And finally, and hopefully you will plateau into a lot of knowledge and a lot of cases. But while you get there, it could be different reasons. Maybe technology doesn't come easy for you. Maybe your practice is very busy and you don't have time. Maybe you don't have the basis of orthodontic knowledge very strong and you don't know as much as you wish. Whatever is the reason, you will always have a slow beginning. And we don't want you to get stuck at the beginning. We want you to move away from the beginning, keep growing up, and then be very successful. So this is why we want to help you through the learning of the use of the software. We help you through the learning of the diagnostics, learning of orthodontic principles. Each case is a learning. Each case is a book in which you're going to learn so much stuff. And there are no cases alike. You will never find the same case with the same characteristics. You need to learn about the use of the technique, the process, and even how to communicate with your dental technician. Whatever clear aligner is that you're using, there will always be some communication involved. And that also needs to be learned. Yeah. So all of the beginning of the treatment planning, which is understanding what your patient looks like and why, what are the characteristics of the profile, the face, the bones, the periodontal, everything from evaluating the x-rays. Where should we move the teeth or where shouldn't we move the teeth? And what you see on the left of the screen is the setup of one patient and then really the treatment plan. What has really been decided to be manufactured for this patient. And I have to say that in this particular case, having gone with the first option would have been a big issue for this particular patient, because there is the risk if you do an improper diagnostic at a treatment plan. If you look at a ClinCheck that has all the wrong movements that you forget to check with your patient's diagnostic records, you may end up in issues. You may be moving teeth out of biological conditions, out of biological limitations. You may be moving the teeth out of the bones, which, it will mean that your aligners won't fit or that recession will be created.
It's always the same thing. I mean, virtually you can do anything. I can take a tooth here and put it there. It's almost this. So again, you have to know the limits, understand the limits, and they're dictated by, again, the gums, the bones, everything, all the surrounding structures and tissues. And that's the thing. Like you said, if we rely only on the artificial intelligence, of course, it's an incredible tool. It helps. It's good, but it's still a tool, and it's not perfect, and we still need doctors, and that's a really good news. We still need human beings controlling this thing. So that's the, I totally agree with you.
Yeah, software is great. Artificial intelligence is here to stay for sure. It will increase our productivity, and it will save us a lot of time, not only for doctors, but for companies. It will be huge in the future, but your brain, your clinical brain and expertise will always need to reconciliate this thing you're seeing on the screen with the person that's sitting on the chair. There will never be two alike. So your brain will always be needed. So that's the good news.
That's it. Exactly. And like you said, we always learn from our cases, and this is really good. I really like the analogy. Say every patient is a book, or a new chapter in your book, in your orthodontic knowledge book. And you have to learn. This is why I say always it's important to look back at your cases and to look at what worked, what didn't work, and try to figure out why. And this is where you learn the most, because only you need doing courses and seeing lectures, and theory is good, but this is not, at one point you have to put your hands in saliva. You have to put your hands there and try things and see things happening. And this is where you learn the most.
Absolutely. And all doctors go through this process in different ways. Some doctors learn very, very quickly, and they want to take over the whole process themselves, in which we're very happy that we help them grow. We know that whenever they'll need assistance, we're still here.
Some like me are very slow learners.
Yeah, some doctors learn slow. Some doctors don't really have the time to learn, and that's a reality. Even if they wish they have all the time of the world to check these ClinChecks, the reality is that they have to work, and the hygienist or the secretaries cannot look at these cases for sure. So there is different reasons why doctors will require the assistance up on certain levels. Some doctors are so successful that they just don't have the time to look at ClinChecks anymore. They want to keep growing and doing good ClinChecks. So there's a service for everybody. Doctors will find that TPS helps them to achieve more aesthetic, as I said, and predictable, stable results. We will also help them optimize the workflow, reducing the unnecessary refinements and the treatment time. We are a very powerful education tool, as you said. Each case is a big learning, and we will overall reduce the operational costs for doctors and practices, because you choose which case you need help with, and you pay based on the assistance received, and you keep going. So I really love this image that I found a few years ago, and I put it in every single presentation. The setup is only the tip of the iceberg. You need to dig deeper, otherwise you're going to end up manufacturing hundreds of unnecessary refinements.
That's true.
So, and then are you profitable? Is your time worth spending doing all that, or do you want to do it right from the beginning? And at the end, it's the learning curve, but it doesn't have to be painful. It's a learning curve in which you can still be growing, you can still be profitable with the right support and the right assistance. And that's what I want to share with you today.
Yeah, well, thank you very much. You know, I remember when I got my first ClinCheck back from you, and it was almost a shock, because every time I received ClinCheck, even though I would fill my prescription, even though I have my clinical preferences and everything, there's always things that there you say, oh my God, you know, there's a lot of changes, you have to spend time. And when I received my first ClinCheck from ClearTPS, I was like, it looked like I did it, you know, from the start. Because the thing that doctors, you have to understand, and one of the reasons why we decided to have this collaboration with ClearTPS is that they will set up cases according to what we teach, what we say in our courses, how we do it ourselves. And this for us was really important. And I think this is one of the big difference from other services out there, is that, and I mean, you even assisted to our courses, you know what we teach, we know how we think, you know, because like you said, there's not only one good way to do things. Otherwise, we would all do the same thing. It would be really easy. But we all have our preferences. We all have our beliefs, and I don't. It's sometimes it's not even scientific. It's just things that works well in my hand, and I have reason. I mean, they're clinical preferences. They're not scientific facts. But when I saw that we could, you know, sit down and look at how we do things, and that you guys could just reproduce that, and then our doctors doing our courses will not get confused, receiving something completely different from what we say. I think this is really, really powerful, and comes. It's a good thing to add for our doctors, to help them, yes, to help them learn, but at the same time, like you said, for doctors are really busy or doing a lot of cases like me, it's just of less time to spend on this and more time for something else, maybe seeing more patients or whatever. So so let's say, Dr. Garro, talk to us a little bit about you. You're an orthodontist. So what brought you to ClearTPS?
So I'm an orthodontist, and one of the first jobs I had when I was fresh out from school was the opportunity to work with Invisalign. And I spent many years in Invisalign, and because it was in a small company back then, I had the chance to sit with the technicians, clean teeth, set up bites, move teeth, speak with the doctors on the phone, you know, all hands on deck. And it gave me the chance to really interact with the doctors at all levels. So I kept seeing the same questions, I kept seeing the same needs, and after many years, I share with the experience with other colleagues that we were seeing the same needs from the doctors. Mm-hmm. And we realized there was a need for this assistance, this clinical assistance. And I like to tell the people that works with us that every ClinCheck is somebody out there. Is your mother in the grocery store? Is somebody smiling in London? It's a daughter going to school in China? Every ClinCheck is somebody that wants to wear their aligners and have nice teeth. And it is a doctor in an office somewhere that doesn't want to be stuck with a whole bunch of refinements and an unhappy patient. Yeah. So I guess that really doing the things required for the doctors and the patients to have a good experience is what made us come together. And so we are, and we're doing this. And I think that we hear doctors that go to courses that learn so much, but when they get on Monday back to the practice and they have to do all those things, all the different things, and then the patients, and then the ClinChecks, and then everything else, they need almost like to have you sitting, have Dr. Reinhardt sitting in your office helping them. And unfortunately, we cannot clone you to give one Dr. Reinhardt to each doctor that goes through your course. So hopefully we can fulfill some of that need and help them grow.
Well, I think you do it and you do it well. So that's and that again makes all the difference, and the reason why we could, I mean, collaborate together. I think we have the same philosophy, and there's gonna be also an how-to video, because we will not get over it now, but there's an how-to video. There's going to be a link for you that you can, look at to see how the process works, how to start with ClearTPS, how to start sending your cases. And well, I encourage you to do it, to try it. I mean, try it once and you'll be hooked up. That's it. It's as simple as that. And the thing I like is that you are going to learn from this. It's not only about sending your things and that. No, you're gonna learn. You're gonna learn a lot. You're gonna see things and you're gonna get things. And so for those who are starting Texan, for those who are really busy Texan, for anyone who wants to or interested in clear aligners and wants to have more time for themselves. Who doesn't today? Who doesn't? Dr. Garro, anything else to add?
No, thank you again for the opportunity, and to all the doctors being part of the course. I hope we can help you maximize your learning and your experience.
Oh, well, I'm sure you already do. You will just do it more and more and more. Thank you very much, Dr. Garro. It was a pleasure. And for you guys, all the links are in the description. Everywhere you have, go there, try it, and I know you will be more than satisfied. Thank you, Dr. Garro. Be safe.
Be safe.
Healthy. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You're a natural. You're a natural.
Well, I guess when you do what you love, I think
that's it.
Honestly, I can't say it enough. This is for everyone's good. We have a customer, for example, we have an orthodontist in Eastern Europe that she's so successful that she was stuck in her practice every night looking at ClinChecks. She couldn't see her kids. She had 2 small babies, and she never thought she'll have someone else doing her ClinChecks, but life took her there, and she's happy to have the service, and she keeps making a lot of money, hundreds of patients, but she doesn't have to spend hours looking at ClinChecks.
That's
and
it.
So that's one edge. That's one end of the spectrum. The other end is the doctor who's doing their first case, and they don't know what to do, and they cannot text you every single time they're going to modify a ClinCheck. So otherwise, you will be answering texts all day long.
Exactly. And they will probably not learn as much as if they see things and they see. So yeah, it's benefit for everyone for different reasons, but it benefits everyone, whatever the experience you have or where you are in your learning curve.
Exactly.
Totally agree. Very good.
Very good. So
Excellent.
Great. Thanks again.
Thank you very much. Have a nice weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.